There is a third topic that I believe we wish to discuss.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am gonna miss a show for this.
Hello, everyone. By the way, this has been 2 weeks. We're 2 weeks into the future. Let's go.
Whoa.
So, we're not that late, but with this season introducing a bunch of new media and franchises, we thought, what are some franchises that we think deserve a look at Death Battle? I want to specifically focus on newer franchises, because we talked about franchises that deserve to come back in another podcast. So this discussion, mostly let's just keep it to new franchises. And to make it fair to everybody, we'll each talk about one. Does that sound fair?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, who among the class would like to share first?
I'll go first because it's mostly just because mostly thanks to Smash Brothers, I feel like it's become more well known across the world, and I have friends that it would make them happy.
I think I know where you're going with this. But go on.
Fire Emblem.
Yep. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Honestly, how's this not happened yet?
I mean,
I don't know. Because I feel like it's a franchise that a lot of people have been clamoring for a while. It's just that odd it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, no, not gonna lie. At first, Fire Emblem characters in Death Battle, I wasn't so interested by the idea because they sounded like just a bunch of guys with a bunch of swords and axes and lances and bows and whatever. But then apparently some of them have actual powers and have actual experience doing some stuff. So yeah, it could be interesting in my opinion to cover this.
I mean, with Fire Emblem, there's a lot of lore as well to go over, so there's definitely good enough material to make a case for certain matchups for Fire Emblem.
Yeah. Also, there's a matchup that is Ike versus Siegfried from Soul Calibur, and Soul Calibur. Let's go.
A matchup I heard once was actually, since we were talking about Lord of the Rings earlier, it's Marth versus Aragorn.
Speaking of Lord of the Ring versus World of Warcraft, I've heard also of a matchup that was Marth versus Varian Rin, which is the big leader king of the Alliance, basically.
I feel there was also a Brandon Commission track with a Fire Emblem matchup. It was.
Hasn't there been a shit ton of them? I feel like.
Well, this one specifically I'm pointing out because the lyric version of this commission came out very recently. It is Takumi versus Hanzo.
This one fucking slaps. Yes. Takumi versus Hanzo. Very good. I feel like that's gonna be my my most wanted Fire Emblem matchups just for this song.
It is a really good song. But the point is that there's a lot of ideas for Fire Emblem, I think, because of the cast of characters.
There's one I see I'm not too fond of, and it's Lucina versus Naoto from Persona 4.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
that sounds alright.
Honestly, Lucina versus Rowile. Also,
yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah,
you know what was funny? They had Lucina in a DBX.
True, against Milan.
Against Mulan. Yeah, greatest swordsman of the past. Let's throw them in the fucking factory, whatever.
Yeah, I have a friend who's super into Fire Emblem, has seen that DBX, and really does not like how they talked about Fire Emblem.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it won't be that bad when
because didn't they describe the series as a dating sim trying to disguise itself as an RPG?
A bit.
Or something like that.
Mate, I do have to ask. Fire Emblem was the one you pointed out. Is there a specific matchup you would want the first Fire Emblem fight to be?
Honestly, I kind of have I just want to see it because I know it will make a couple of my friends happy. We'll see, depending on the result.
Yeah.
But if anything, it would also just get Fire Emblem in.
True.
Yes, that is understandable.
Actually, there's two matchups I can think of that I kind of want to shout out. One of them is actually a Lucina fight, which was a branded commission, being Lucina versus Clarin from Rivals of Aether, because Rivals of Aether is great, and getting it revved would be neat. And yeah, and the other is one from Three Houses that me and my friend, who also likes Fire Emblem, have been talking about, being Dude versus Gamagori. So yeah, both of them would be.
I think
Both of them would be really.
There's
neat.
no really like bad option per se with Fire Emblem. It feels like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like you should just give him a sword and like a similar weapon, and there you go.
There you go.
I might be mean on this one, but like
Maybe that's fine. But yeah, there's a lot of good potential for it, and I would be down to see it.
And I know like a couple of the researchers are big Fire Emblem fans.
True.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know Ben. I remember Ben said he wanted to bring it in for the longest time.
Yeah,
So.
true. Ben said that with that one. I forget when. It was definitely on like a Death Battle cast, but I don't know which one.
Yeah.
Anything else you wish to add about Fire Emblem?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay.
there's too many sword fighter death battles.
But they're all good. They're all
There you go. I had to put it in.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I had to put it in. I had to put it in.
Let's be real. In the episode, they're probably going to reference that in some way.
True.
Yeah.
Probably.
All right.
Gosh.
So
There's not too much of a sword fight death battle, I feel.
you know what? I shall go next to let our guest have the final say in this discussion.
Yeah, very good.
My pick is a franchise that I would want it because I grew up with it and because it is a challenge for the research team. My pick is Call of Duty Zombies.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, let's go.
Ooh.
Medic versus the
Interesting.
Yes, Medic versus Richthofen's the big
Yeah.
one people want to see.
Yeah, dude, freaking, I really want to see that. Like, me and my friend, my IRL friend in high school, actually had when I brought up Death Battle to him, which he's not really that big. I mean, he knows about it, but he didn't watch it before I showed. Didn't watch much of it before I showed him. Like, Medic versus Richtofen was actually one of the big ideas we talked about when like discussing like what matchups he wanted to see, because he's big into COD, and like. Yeah, I'm really happy that it's picking up a lot of traction in the community because of it. Not because of it,
I
in general.
also have an IRL friend who used to play COD Zombie, and he was a big fan of COD Zombie back then. And when I talked to him about this matchup, he actually didn't get it, despite the fact that he knows both TF2 and COD Zombies. But he didn't quite get it. So kind of confused. Maybe like he's not really big into death battle. But when I talked to Dad about him, he was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So,
but I feel like there's more than he thinks.
I think besides that one, there's definitely like cases you can make for some of them. But again, this is a big challenge for the research team because of how nuts the timeline is for COD Zombies.
Yeah, there's like different timelines, different dimensions,
different weapons.
I think I've heard something like that where
different game mechanics.
Oh gosh.
But
it's weird.
But besides Medic Richtofen, there is one I have, and I don't know if he's the most likely opponent for him. I would also want Takeo versus Kenshin. I think that'd be really cool.
Huh.
Oh.
I've not heard that.
I do not know who those two characters
both
are.
Both former swordsmen serving an emperor in wars at the time for each of them, and then they kind of turned their backs away. Takeo specifically did it in Setsubo no Shima when he learned that the emperor sent him to die.
Ooh.
Oh.
So the ideology of when to kill a person could be interesting, as well as just the whole sword combat thing could be a lot of fun.
I'm also just gonna put something in our chat.
I think it could be really cool, especially if like you weren't sure if you want Richtofen first. Oh yes, Origins. They redid the cast so well in this one.
Oh yeah.
I love that opening cinematic so much.
It is so great,
Let me see.
and the glow up for all the characters is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah,
if not one of them, there's a matchup I'd like to see for like all four of them.
Ooh, I think I know what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's versus the Left 4 Dead cast.
That
There
would
you
make
go.
sense.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
4v4 zombie fighter thing with all kinds of weapons thrown in there. And plus, team fights are a thing we need more of.
True.
We really do. We're really lacking in them, so I'm down for that.
It'd be interesting to see, what they take as well for COD Zombies, because of all the variety of weapons, all the feats from different maps, and of course the timeline. It's a big,
Oh god.
it's a big thing, but I think seeing how the research team handled mythology and Archie, they could definitely tackle this very well.
Or even just comic books as a whole.
Right.
Yeah. Just Marvel and DC as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be my pick if I were to say a franchise I would want to see. It'd be COD Zombies.
Actually,
Or
there's
I guess
one.
just Call of Duty.
Yeah,
True.
Call of Duty in general.
Like
Call
that
of
Actually,
Duty, I don't know because I have a weird history with Call of Duty. It's the same as Dragon Ball if you follow me.
Yeah, regular COD
Fair enough.
characters, there's a few that stand out. Like Price, for example, would be like probably the big one people want to see in a death battle.
Hmm.
Either him or Woods. It would be between Captain Price and Frank Woods, honestly.
Well, how about just the two of them together? Taurock versus Infinity Ward.
Bro, like years ago, I would have loved to see Soap versus Woods. I thought that would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like which COD developer is the best.
True.
There you go.
There you go.
Could be interesting. Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I mean,
COD's been around
considering
for
how
over a
big
decade too.
COD is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like one of the big, a really big franchise. So I'm kind of surprised they haven't touched it yet.
I mean,
Yeah, when you think about first-person shooters, like that's one that your mind goes to.
Yeah. So.
and then there's
Yeah.
Halo.
We need more.
Oh yeah, and Doom
Yeah,
and Battlefield.
we just
And
need
Far
more
Cry.
FPS in general.
Right. I
Yeah.
think it'd be
Yeah.
great.
And-
And
Yeah.
Overwatch.
Yeah, and TF2.
Are we
Yeah.
done?
My God, TF2.
And also, there is actually on the topic of TF2, there is actually one other COD versus TF2 matchup I do want to mention.
Oh yeah, what's
I
that?
just think it's funny. That is the Heavy versus Nikolai Bolinsky.
Oh god, that'd be fun.
Oh, because they're Russian. I get it.
No, think of it like no. I'd be thinking if it like I think it's like they're called Ultimus Nikolai, just getting drunk trying to talk to the Heavy. So you know about my wife? You killed her? I like you.
Yeah.
All right, but
Oh my gosh.
that's all I'm gonna say on Call of Duty. ZDogg, since you wanted to jump in, why don't you go next?
Okay. Well. Okay. Should I pick the one everyone's expecting, or do I go off the wall?
You can plug your video that way.
Do I? Hey, screw it. Yeah, I'll go the obvious one. I want Skullgirls. I want Skullgirls. Damn it. Yeah.
If it wasn't Skullgirls, your audience would be displeased.
Yeah. I mean, I was actually thinking of one other one, but yeah, I mean, I can't deny it. Yeah, I'm just actually getting into Skullgirls. I just really like it, and I really wanted to get repped. So.
For a second, I thought you said get wrecked, and I'm just like, whoa, okay.
Especially they do lose most of their matches. No.
Well, yeah, Skullgirls
yeah.
is just that out of their fighting game, and fighting game matchups in Death Battle have always kind of been like a big hit. There's only been like very few like bad ones, but most of the time they've been big hits.
Indeed, yeah. But yeah, not to mention we need more indie reps. Dang it! Like Shovel Knight has been our only one on the main show. Yeah, I mean, we have had the funny skeleton and Shantae on DBX, but like, I feel like it is kind of surprising, especially how big the indie scene has become. Like, kind of weird,
Right.
considering, and that would definitely help with, that problem.
And speaking of, ZDogg actually did an entire video giving Death Battle fights to Skullgirls characters. Why don't you go ahead and give an example?
Well,
I can aid with one example.
I mean, I think, there are some, admittedly, that would change, but out of the ones I did pick, I think Cuphead versus Peacock is probably one of the ones I want to see the most.
Cuphead?
Yeah, Cuphead
Huh.
versus Peacock.
Because I've often heard of Peacock versus what's the Darkstalker girls?
BB Hood.
BB Hood.
BB Hood. There you go.
Yeah, yeah, that is. I would also be fine with that one, but personally, I do prefer Cuphead. Just
I guess it
has a lot of weight.
sense.
Has a bunch of stuff you could do with it. Do a lot of wacky stuff with it. So yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah. There's that. There's also Philia versus Tokoyami, which I would also really like to see. Yeah. Shadow. They have a dark companion. Could make for a cool fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know, I believe this is the one Mate was talking about. Because there's one I'm sure we would like to see both, being Kanji versus Beowulf from Persona.
Hell yes.
Oh.
Yeah, chair baby.
All I can describe it with is testosterone and hitting people with folding chairs.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah,
That one needs to be in a wrestling ring.
Oh, absolutely.
This is how it would go, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Just ZDogg looking on in the background as it goes on.
There you go. My gosh. But yeah, those three are probably the ones I want to see. Plus, there's actually some that I didn't put in my video that I have grown really attached to. Main one being Marie versus the Enchantress from Shovel Knight, because that's one I've gotten into after the video came out. Which I'm kind of upset that I found that one out after that video, because I really like it. Yeah.
There's a matchup I kind of like too. It's Philia versus Milia Rage from Guilty Gear.
Ooh.
Their hair are basically like parasites, whatever. They kind of work the same way, and so I would be curious to see how, who's the best hair whipping lady in the fighting game, I guess.
Well, if we're talking hair whipping, there's also Philia versus Shantae.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Philia versus Shantae, I don't know, because Shantae uses her ponytail as a whip, but that's kind of all she does with it, which is kind of like where I draw the line with this matchup, where like with Philia, it's nothing but her hair.
Yeah.
She does
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm also just looking for like getting Shantae in as well.
Well, Shantae versus Shovel Knight.
That's also a thing that could happen.
Like, that's just Miss versus Mr. Indie, so like that has to go in.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but no, there's a lot of characters from the game I want to see and I just want to see it in just in general. I would love to see it on. Fingers crossed it does one day. So
hope it does.
I feel like it will eventually.
Yeah, it does have a bit of a.
There's
a lot of matches that are popular, so I wouldn't be surprised if it happens eventually. So
we have the season finale coming out like soon.
Mm-hmm.
Watch the tease feature a Skullgirls character.
Oh my gosh! If it does, I'm gonna be so happy if it does. So. Yeah.
Or if not a Skullgirls character, someone who's requested to fight them.
Dude, if that happens,
Yeah,
ZDogg can do like a skit saying like, Death Battle made an apology episode for me.
God. They answered my. Well, oh my gosh, yeah, there you go. Man. We'll just have to wait and see.
So,
I suppose.
I'll have to wait and see.
Is that everything for Skullgirls, ZDogg?
I guess there are a few. Those are like the main matchups I do want to see. So yeah. So unless you guys have any more that catch your eye.
I do not, sadly.
Nor do I.
Yeah, well,
Neither.
So,
just play the game, damn it. No, joking.
Like I'm trying to think of some like potential matchups that I've heard about and that I've liked, but I got nothing
well,
in mind.
how about instead of thinking of Skullgirls matchups, Taurock, why don't you give us your franchise you would like to see get in the final?
You know, it's been complex to think about a franchise that I really want in Death Battle. I wanted to like to go with not just a franchise where I want just like one character. Sometimes there's a franchise you want in Death Battle, but like it's like the one character is the main focus. I
Mhm.
wanted to find the franchises that I like and where there are actually like a lot of characters and matchups that I want. And it actually like it reduced my list like a lot, and I didn't want to go for this one, even though it's a franchise that I also care about a lot. But I feel like I'm gonna be the only one that knows it in the room. But
To be fair, ZDogg is the only one who knows Skullgirls.
Yeah, true. So
fair, but
I mean, I know
you've
of
heard
some
it.
characters.
You know
Let's say
some characters. If I say Warhammer 40,000 to you,
I actually played a Warhammer game years back, oddly enough.
Was it Dawn of War 1, 2,
I think
3?
I think it was Warhammer 3.
Dawn of War 3? The
Yeah,
worst
that
one.
one.
Anyway.
Shocker to why I didn't play anymore.
No, the 1 and 2 are fine. They are very good in their own rights. You just fell into the wrong one. Because like 3 wanted to combine the two, but like it took everything that was wrong and not everything that was good. But anyway. Yeah, Warhammer 40,000, just like Warcraft, it's a franchise that I've grown up with like for so long, maybe even earlier than Warcraft, because World of Warcraft, my parents were like taken aback by the whole paid subscription thing. Warhammer 40k, you just had to buy. It was like a bunch of toys. You make them and paint them yourself. You know, it's like it's way better. It's more how do you say it? It's not a video game.
It's like figurines that can be put into a video game, kind of like what.
Oh, so it's
That's what
Amiibo
it's
before Amiibo.
Well, not really. No. It's at first it's like it's a tabletop game at first. Where
Oh, okay,
Ah.
that makes
a
sense.
tabletop game where you take your own figurines and like you assemble them and you paint them yourself. Like that's the main thing.
They're like Gundams people build essentially then.
Maybe, yeah, you can say that.
I was about to say like D&D.
You could say some D&D, but it's like on a more massive scale, like way more massive scale. Because like you command armies and shit, and you just go at each other between players. But I'm not big on the tabletop. I'm more like of a Warhammer 40k video game, and there's just so many characters that I would love to see. I've talked about one of my most wanted matchups ever last time, which was a Thrall versus Gaskell Frocka.
Yeah.
The big lads of the orcs. There's also I've seen a couple matchups running around for Brainiac versus Trazen the Infinite, which is also like, and Trazen is he's kind of like Brainiac, but he's more smug about it, and it's very he's basically a Necron that like collects artifacts and like artifacts or also like events. Like he's going around in the middle of a battlefield and he like freezes an entire place of the battlefield in time, and he just takes them all and he puts it in his vaults. It's like a little museum. It's like this is where the battle of this happened with actual people in uniform, but they are actual living people, and it's very fun.
Yeah, Warframe definitely feels like, a franchise not a lot of people have heard of, because again, starting out as a tabletop and then going to a video game, not exactly the greatest idea.
Yeah, but it's also one of those it's kind of like World of Warcraft where it's like it's got so much shit with its lore and so much characters, like so many different characters and so many different shit. There's a lot of shit of matchups out there. Like you could go with the Swarm Lord versus Kerrigan, StarCraft, another franchise that I was considering.
StarCraft was something my dad played years ago. Like specifically
Yeah,
StarCraft 2.
StarCraft was essentially, it was supposed to be a Warhammer 40k strategy game, kind of like Warcraft was supposed to be a Warhammer fantasy battle game, but they basically pulled the plug on the contract, and but Blizzard had a full finished project, so they're like, what do we do? Let's just make our own game with what we already have. So. And that's how Warcraft and StarCraft started, basically. So, yeah, I have a lot of history with war things.
Yeah, I can tell.
War is in your
But
blood,
what is
it
it good
seems.
for?
Ha!
Yeah. There's also other characters that I would like to see, like the Emperor of Mankind, possibly, which is like the big human god. Doesn't really like to be called a god, but everyone's like, yeah, whatever god. Some of his Primarchs too. I know I'm the only one who can talk about it here.
No, it's understandable, but also a good thing about doing something like this is you can expose more people to something like Warhammer, you know?
Yeah, definitely. If I can catch some eyes with some Warhammer 40k matchups, there's one that I actually there's a matchup that I actually came up with, which is Conrad Kurz of Warhammer 40k versus the Batman Who Laughs. And the whole matchup is basically what if Batman and Joker were the same person. And Conrad Kurz, basically, he's one of the Primarchs, like he said, but he's basically like a vigilante, like absolute psycho. Like he comes from a planet that is like, it's basically Gotham, but like perpetually nights, and it's on the entire surface of the planet.
Okay.
A planet surrounded by the night sky.
And it's like, imagine Gotham, but like crank the criminality to 11, and he was
the
just
criminality
sent
was
there.
already cranked to 11 in Gotham. What do you mean?
he was just sent there like as a baby, and he had to fend up for himself. So the guys of what's the name of the planet again? Fuck.
Yeah, what a great name for a planet. Planet Fuck.
Oh god.
It might as well be. Shit. Something Russian. Fuck. Like Nostrodia.
Can we just call it Planet Fuck for the rest of the session?
Let's go. Planet. People from Planet Fuck are like, they're like murderers before they are teenagers and rapists by the time they are. Like the only thing that like keeps the population from like that the only population control you have on this planet is suicide. That is not a joke. That is literally what happened. And basically because he is a Primarch, which is basically like being a demigod, he conquered the entire planet, and he reigned it through being a vigilante that reigned through fear. And so like he any crime he would punish it by by Death and like recorded as an example, and he made that criminality drop all the way to 0.
Damn.
And,
Impressive.
And that's just his upbringing. But he gets like super insane over time, because he has like visions of the future, notably his own death.
Ah, that's fun.
His entire life, he knows how he's gonna die, basically. So he's a very interesting character that I obviously don't have time to talk about now. There's also, I talked about Trazen, I talked about...
But I think overall, if you got to pick a franchise, it would be Warhammer.
Warhammer 40,000. I'm not too much, because like there's Warhammer 40,000 and there's Warhammer Fantasy, and I'm not into the fantasy one. I'm really into the
So
I'm really
preferably 40K.
Yeah, I'm preferably 40K. Just also like just have a Space Marine in Death Battle. Just have that. Like even if it's not a specific Space Marine, it could be like kind of a Predator situation where you have where it's like more you take the overall Space Marine and you see what the best you can do about it. Could be funny.
It could be. But is that everything you wish to go over for Warhammer 40K?
I guess so. I also want to know your opinions about it, because like
I think it could be a lot of fun to see something like that, and just how they would incorporate the tabletop and the video game aspects of it, like how much they relate.
Yeah, and also like the books. Yeah. So many books and codex to like codex to like explain the rules and of the tabletop, but also the story of the characters. But
it sounds like another challenging one for the research team.
It's so many fucking books.
We just like to make the research team suffer, I guess.
Hey,
I guess we do.
Hey, this is what happens when you take on mythology. You're gonna get requested to do a lot of more obscure things.
That's very true. So.
Well, with that being said, anyone else have anything they wish to comment about Warhammer as Taurock's choice?
I mean, it sounds neat. I don't have anything besides that. It sounds like it could be neat.
Yeah, I'm down.
Well, with that being said, to be fair, we have been going on for nearly 3 hours.
Yep.
Jesus.
There was a lot of stuff to go over, especially for Deku and Asta.
Indeed.
Yeah, especially just Deku and Asta alone.
Yeah.
I'm also fine with us like wrapping this up because I've basically missed dinner.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Well, that being said,
I'm actually gonna miss dinner too. So
Well, we're gonna do our outros now and end the podcast. Thank you, folks, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Last Discuss Death Battle. Don't worry, Billy will be back on the show very soon. He's almost done.
Finally.
Yeah. So we'll have someone funnier than me and Mate on the podcast.
I mean, you would still have to put up with those two, but
Yeah. But
just have Billy will be here, which will make things a little smoother to go through.
Yeah. But what are your thoughts on Sauron versus the Lich King? Who are you going for in Deku versus Asta? And what franchise would you guys pick? Big shout out and thank you again to both Taurock and ZDogg for joining us today. Thank you guys for joining us again.
Thank you for inviting me twice
Thanks
over.
Yeah.
And I hope I get more chances to chat with you all. It's always a pleasure.
Same here. Yeah.
And with
I'm glad I could be on.
And with that being
That's
said,
good.
thank you folks for watching. I will see you all later. Mate, go ahead.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe. If you did not enjoy this, be sure to like and subscribe. Check all the links. Check out everyone's various channels. Thank you for coming back on, both Taurock and ZDogg. Really sorry to those who didn't understand what I was doing for Asta vs. Deku. Just all the UK supermarkets.
Oh, they have to wait an entire week to figure that out. Imagine you make the plot twist about like the Asta like in the third part instead of the second part. That would be vicious.
You know what, Sean? Do you want me to send you like, the logos of all the
Yes.
shops I mentioned?
Yes, do that after recording. That'd be easier. Anyway,
My God.
thank you, mate.
I'll look them up later, but for now, I am going to head off, have dinner, and watch a little show called I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here!
All right, with mate all of a sudden out of here, Taurock, we'll go in alphabetical order of our guests. Go ahead.
Let's go. Thank you so much for watching this Let's Discuss. That was Taurock at your service. If you want to know a bit more about me, you can find me. You can find my YouTube channel probably in the description. I don't know, Taurock, but with an accent. You can find me on Twitter at Taurock96. You can find me on DeviantArt just by Taurock normally. Let us know what's your thought on the Sauron versus the Lich King, not Arthas versus the Lich King. I almost went there. Let us know who wins between Deku and Asta. Let us know what franchise do you want to see in Death Battle for the first time, being seen for the first time. Because like I had Warcraft, but what do you want? And what are your thoughts on Call of Duty Zombies, Fire Emblem, and
Skullgirls.
Skullgirls, I'm completely sorry, ZDogg. And Warhammer 40k entering Death Battle, or things like that. And if you want me to be back on this channel again, just harass Billy or whatever. Bobby.
Quick
Anyway.
disclaimer, don't actually harass Billy.
Don't actually do that, you stupid motherfucker. I'm just joking. Come on. Oh my god, that was
Anyway.
Taurock at your service. I'll see you whenever.
ZDogg, end us off, buddy.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. Thanks for having me on, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this recording. Let us know what you thought of our topics today and what other franchises you want to see on. You can find me wherever. I'm just on the internet, on Twitter, on YouTube, all that stuff. And if you want to hear more ramblings from me about Death Battle, make sure to check out the Provost Cast, which I'm a part of. I don't have this locked down yet, but hopefully I will in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed these lives discussing some Death Battle. Have a good one, folks. Whee!